Hello everybody, I am Lodge, and today I was going to talk about my thoughts on the campaign demo from Halo Infinite from the Xbox Live event thing. And I waited a little bit to do this because my initial thoughts about the demo have drastically changed from what I think now, just based on time and just understanding everything. So yeah, let's get into that. I actually really liked what we saw in the gameplay demo, and then later what we saw in the trailer that was released. I really like the art style in terms of how a lot of the enemies are going back to the Bungie era style, but there still are some 343 style enemies, like there's some grunts with the round methane tank things. But I really like how they are combining the two art styles, and I kind of hope that there are some old elites from 4 and 5. Though I can understand why they wouldn't want to have those, just because that's like more things to model and change. But if they were in there, I'd like if they were acted a bit different, but I don't know. I also like how the Banished are looking like one of the main focuses for the game. I really like the new bad guy Escharum, and I hope he's present throughout a lot of the game, unlike Joel Mendama, but I think that they learned their lesson from that. And I think it would be cool to hear some stuff from Atriox. Maybe some stuff like Halo 3 with the Prophet of how he's like just talking but he's not there. But I guess in different ways, not like talking religious stuff, because of course he wouldn't. And I still hope Cortana and the Created are still a main threat in the game, just because I don't like how when people, if something doesn't work, they'll just throw it away just because it didn't work out how they originally wanted it to. I just feel like that's lazy, and I'd like them to focus on trying to get that right. But then again, it is a campaign demo, and they're not going to show everything the game has to offer, so there's still hope. 343 also said that the game was going to be longer than 4 and 5 combined, which is really cool, even though Halo 4 was pretty short in the amount of levels it had. It had like 10 levels in total, and 2 of those were like the intro cutscene and the epilogue cutscene. But that, even though that still means that a lot can happen in the story, even though a lot can happen in just one level, but I hope to see a lot going on throughout this game. And now for a lot of the negative aspects of the gameplay demo. A lot of the models of the characters didn't look great in this. While I do like the design a lot of them, like the elites being skinnier like in Halo 1 and 2, many of them just felt like flat and looked like toys. Like everything was too perfect, and I feel like there does need to be some work on the models to make them, I guess, more rough, like the Banished. Like some of the Brute's armor just looks too perfectly painted on. But a lot of this could just be chalked up to the lighting that needs touching up. And one of the major issues I did see throughout the trailer, I guess not throughout, but through a certain part, was when Chief was going up the elevator thing. I could see clouds popping in, which was very noticeable to me, unlike some, like there's one part where the grass is popping in and out, but I didn't notice that until someone pointed it out. So I do think that that needs to be fixed, since it was like a big part, I feel like, from the, like, look at this, look at all the things you can see and do in just this one shot, but then the clouds pop in, and I feel like that kind of ruins the effect. Also, another problem I had with this was that the hexagonal pillar things, that I guess are like cliffs in the game. I know that they're probably supposed to be like the 343 Forerunner style, where it's very clean and there's not a lot of texture on it, but it does just look like a cliff that someone didn't model and texture correctly, and it just looks kind of bad, I guess. I don't know, like when you're on the ground, or even like the box art, it looks fine, but through a lot of the gameplay, like when they're flying through, it just does not look finished, which I think is very weird. And I guess this isn't really too much of a problem I have, but when your shield's like regenerating and the hexagons come up, I thought it looked pretty cool, though I can see why some people could think of it as like intrusive. But I don't think it'd be there in like multiplayer or something. I feel like it'd only be in the campaign. Just kind of like how in Halo 4 and 5, you had you were in Chief's helmet or Locke's helmet, but then multiplayer, you couldn't see the stuff surrounding it and like the edges. And I guess this isn't really like a negative thing of the game, but I am just kind of worried that this game's being made for both the original Xbox One and the Series X. And I hope that the original Xbox One doesn't hold the game back, because when this game comes out, the original Xbox One will be out for 7 years, which is a whole generational gap. And if the game, like, I can understand if the game just looks really bad on the original Xbox One, but I hope they don't try and make them look similar on the Xbox Series X. And those were roughly my thoughts on the gameplay reveal. Overall, I really liked how the game is shaping up so far, and in the blog post that came out a couple days ago, it was mentioned how the demo was created several weeks ago, which I think of as like 7 weeks, which would put it about May-ish, though you could, I guess, argue that several could be kind of any week between like 4 to 7 and 8. And I think it's weird how they used a demo that was from so long ago, but with the virus going around, I can understand how it can be hard to get together to figure out what build we're going to do it on. But hey. And I also thought it was weird how they didn't say when the next information was. I thought they'd be like, look out next month for another thing about the gameplay, like, we'll talk about this. Like, since the game's coming out in probably 5 to 6 months, I guess 5 to 4 now, they should really start doing the marketing for this game. And I can understand why the flight didn't happen, or why they didn't announce like flights are happening in October or something, just because they don't know. But I do think it is weird how there was no flights last year. I would have thought they would have went the Halo 5 route, been like, this is the gameplay, do you guys like it? And then people would be like yay or no, and then they could change it based on that. But it is weird how there is no information on that based on we don't know. And thank you guys so much for watching this video. I know I took a while on it, but I have a good reason. I was beating Halo Reach on Lasso, which took more of my time because I spent like 4 days trying to do Pillar Bottom, and it was all because I mixed up which railing I wanted to use. But I will talk about that in another video I'm thinking of making. So I hope you all have a good day, and goodbye.